Welcome back to Masterpiece Minute on Virtual SDMA. I'm your host, Kara Felt, and I'm the Lawrence S. Friedman Curator of Photography at the San Diego Museum of Art. Today I want to spotlight U-Boats, a gelatin silver print made by the local photographer Florence B. Kemmler around 1930. This photograph exemplifies the close-up views of U.S. Navy boats and equipment that she produced around San Diego in the 1920s and early 1930s. It concentrates on two U-boats, short for Unterseeboot or undersea boat, which were submarines used widely by the German army during the World Wars. They were some of the most destructive naval weapons of the era and were objects of fear and fascination in the interwar period when Kemmler made this photograph. Kemmler captures the submarines cutting across the reflective water, focusing on the forms of their massive prows. Industry and nature collide in her photograph. The matte surfaces, hard metallic planes, and strategically engineered angles of naval structures in fluid, glimmering water that reflects the boats. The lack of horizon adds to a general feeling of claustrophobia, fittingly for the subject. In her attention to military might, Kemmler typifies a moment in photography when many artists were embracing hard-edged imagery of industrial objects, perhaps most famously the American photographer Margaret Bourke-White. Kemmler toes the line between this shift toward modernism and her origins as a soft-focus pictorialist photographer, the first international movement for photography as a fine art that evolved in the early 1900s and remained influential in California through the early 1930s. Though her content is typical of the machine age, her rendering is more diffuse, even ethereal. Born in Columbus, Ohio, Kemmler moved to San Diego in 1920, where she soon met Roland Schneider, who became her collaborator in photography and eventually her husband. The couple exhibited extensively around the world until his death in 1934. They both photographed in the area, from buildings downtown to beachgoers in La Jolla and animals at the San Diego Zoo, and they won numerous awards for their pictures. This particular print traveled widely, as we can tell from its verso, or back, which can be viewed on SDMA's website. The verso bears stamps announcing Kemmler's membership in the Pictorial Photographers of America, and this photograph's inclusion in the Third Chicago International Photographic Salon of 1931. A handwritten list indicates other locations around the world, from San Diego to Milan, Antwerp, and Austria, that exhibited this print in the early 1930s. U-Boats is a striking photograph that speaks to how San Diego photographers synthesized local content with international artistic currents, contributing to global networks of exchange and display. Thanks for listening. This has been Kara Felt, Lawrence S. Friedman, Curator of Photography at the San Diego Museum of Art.